to the upper gallery in the Hoboken Historical Museum. My name is Bob Foster. I'm the director and happy to say involved in the curation of this exhibit. But really the real star here is to my right, and this is Duquann Sweeney, who is the photographer. We're showing 17 of your photographs. And welcome.
Yeah,
welcome.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Happy to be here.
Okay, just a few kind of thank yous before we get into it. Basically, in the upper gallery, we like to show different works from emerging artists in the county or Hoboken, but this is definitely from your Jersey City guy.
Yeah.
And the works are sponsored by Hudson County Office of Cultural and Heritage Affairs. And I should mention, when we do come up on the screen, that you're going to be seeing things in black and white, in monotone. And the reason being is because all of Duquann's work is in black and white, so it seemed fitting to sort of broadcast in black and white.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Looking good?
Yeah, looking good. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your, foundations in photography. How'd you get started? How long you've been doing it?
Well, I say I took it starting, looking at old photo albums. Looking at my family photo albums and just seeing the aesthetic, old photographs there. Years ago I had a small little cyber shot camera, Sony. And I would just photograph then, but last 5-6 years, I've really been taking photography real serious.
So you're like of the generation of video, and digital, and the phones, but you prefer the camera.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And have you thought about that? Why it's not just video or the phone?
I don't know. I've just been seeing for a long time. I've been seeing with my eyes for a long time since I was a young man. So it just was, it's just a reflection of, the things I've seen growing up in the community. Yeah.
Right. And so tell us a little bit about your subject matter.
Majority of my photographs are, African Americans in, Jersey City, mainly in Ward F and Ward A. It's some of them strangers, some of them family members, some of them friends.
When you say Ward A and what was?
Ward A and Ward F.
Oh, Ward F.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And so those are like political boundaries.
Yeah.
Political
boundaries from voting. Bergen, Lafayette, and Greenville.
Okay.
Majority of the colored community, is there.
And have you lived any other place?
No, pretty much. Pretty much in Bergen, Lafayette all my life,
And what do you like about your community?
Oh man, the people, especially now, just seeing so many, people come together during this pandemic and, supporting each other. There's a lot of love, there's a lot of dignity, there's a lot of beauty.
So, do you have like friends you like grew up when you were like from kindergarten, like you hanging together?
Yeah, I mean a lot of them tuning in now.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of family and friends tuning in now. People I went to school with. So shout out to everybody out there that's listening and watching. My good friends out there. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
we have actually a reception for your exhibit. It's this Sunday, January 17th, from 2 to 5.
Yeah.
And I normally I'd say we like to pack the place, but obviously we're not packing the place. It'll be limited viewing.
Yes.
And this interview will help for folks who can't make it.
Yeah.
But the point is for people to come here, come together, celebrate your work, and thank you for the work that you're doing.
Yeah, I like to thank them.
Okay, no, that'd be good. It's always fun to see the real person, and then the photograph of the person, because you're going, hey, wait a second, I recognize you, and you didn't bring your bike, or
exactly.
you're wearing different clothes, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your approach? I mean, the people for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, my approach is out of love, right? It's out of a lot of love and respect. That's my approach. Like I would just see someone I think that's interesting or beautiful, and I just my approach, I would ask, may I take a photograph of you? Majority of the time, they say yes. And if they say no, it's the same thing. We still will have a conversation and just talk.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're, so how old are you when you start getting involved in the photography?
Oh man, I think about, some of my age right now. I was about like 28 when I first.
Okay, so you're not a kid.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a spring chicken.
So, you have confidence. And you are photographing the neighborhood where you belong and where you're raised. And I can sort of think of photographers, like one of the hardest things sometimes can be to photograph someone you don't know. So to have that confidence and the familiarity with the neighborhood can help. And do you, like, if you saw someone walking down the block, would you, like, have to really sort of plot it out how you're going to photograph them? Like, when they get to the corner, I'm going to ask them? Or
it's interesting because, I think about that, right? And sometimes it is like I like to use backgrounds a lot. Like I use like the brick walls and gates and things like that to make my own backdrop. So I think about that a lot, when I approach. So sometimes some people will be in a spot where they are, and sometimes it's organic. Like I like organic photos, right? Someone that just just themselves. It make it nice and nice and simple.
So, do you see it as kind of a collaboration with the person?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think all my photographs, for the majority, are collaboration. It's like two-way street. Or sometimes multiple streets. It depends how many people in the photograph.
Sure. In a little while, we'll bring some of the photos up on screen and we can sort of get into those specifics. And then, let's say there's an interesting background and this really beautiful face. What else are you looking for in that picture?
Oh man, I think it's just the black aesthetic. What I mean by the black aesthetic, it's just photograph that highlights black African American culture. And that's a lot of photographs that's on display here. Young men. Rodney bikes, listen to music, jump rope, it's just that. That's what I look for,
And do you know it, or?
I know it. I know it. I study it a lot. Yeah.
And some of your favorite photographers?
Oh man, I have so many. I mean, I just want to start locally first, right? It's so many great local photographers. John. Jamal, so many. Even the big names like Lou Draper, Kamonge Workshop, Gordon Parks, Roy DeCarver. I mean, I'm so inspired by so many great photographers out here, and it's a lot.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And do you go into shows in Manhattan and look at what's being...
I mean, I go to art shows in Manhattan. Sometimes it's not about photography, it's just like I like art shows, paintings, anything dealing with the art, I pretty much dive into. Yeah.
And would you say you're sort of seeking out more what other African American artists are doing?
I do. Yes, I do. A lot, a lot of what African American artists doing,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And we've talked a little bit, before, but generally you just take, I think you said, a few shots.
Yeah. I mean, like a portrait shot doesn't really take much for me, right? It's just like, just the look, 1 or 2 shots and that's it,
And you just know you have it.
Yeah, it's just the eye. It's the eye,
Yeah. So Rand, can you bring up a few images? We're going to look at some of Duquann's work that he's photographing.
Yeah.
This one is actually a little different than a lot of your photos.
Yes. One of my favorites.
Do you want to talk about what's going on here?
Well, this day, right? We were celebrating Juneteenth, right? And we had a celebration on Martin Luther King Avenue. That's on Grant Avenue. And this group right here is Jump for Jerry. And this shot, I actually took multiple shots in here. You know, I was very low, and you know, it's just a beautiful. To me, it's one of my favorites. It's a beautiful shot. I mean, man.
That's okay. So
Yeah.
can you probably, some people are not going to know about Juneteenth.
Well, Juneteenth is I say the liberation of African Americans out of slavery, you know, and it was Juneteenth. I forgot the date. I forgot the year, 1862, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But,
So is this when Lincoln says the
Yes,
slaves are free?
yes, yes.
Okay, so it's before the Civil War.
Yes, yes,
Leads
exactly.
to the Civil War.
Yes,
in a
exactly,
sense.
exactly.
Right, I'm sorry, I don't know the date, but I think you're in.
Yeah.
You're in the right
decade.
decade.
Yeah, I'm in the right decade. Yeah, so right, yeah.
And so this was, in a sense, a holiday, a
Yeah.
recognized holiday,
Yes, exactly.
which a lot of people might not know about.
Yeah.
But special,
Very-
obviously, it should be special to everyone,
Yes,
but
exactly.
more special to African Americans.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. Right.
And is that okay, so we're on to another one.
Yeah.
And you said we might expect to see these folks on
Yeah.
Sunday?
They'll
That's
be
so
here.
cool.
I know they'll be here.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I hope they bring their bikes.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. One of my favorites as well. Yeah. Yeah.
And tell us about this gentleman.
Yeah, this young man right here is Reverend Bishop. You know, he's actually in front of his church, and on the weekends he sells ices, right? And the day I photographed him, actually I met him that day. You know, and I just saw him, and I just was like, man, it's just a strong look. It's just his character, right? And it just the dignity that he just showed. So I actually spoke to him. I spoke to him like a half an hour before I even photographed him, and he had an interesting story. He was years ago when he was once younger, he used to be in the streets, and he had a tragic accident. Actually got shot in his eye while laying in bed, and after that he changed his life around. And, he gave himself up, to Christ, his religion. And he just, and I was just like, wow. And I just, took a photograph, and it came out beautiful. And I think, I love the details about the photograph, like the way he's relaxed, and the chain, the necklace he's wearing, and the ice cream, the ices. Yeah, so... Yeah.
I mean, I just envision you going around saying, hey, this looks like an interesting face.
Yeah.
And you're thinking about background,
Yeah.
and then you hear the story, and
Yeah.
you're going, whoa.
Yeah.
And it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
And you'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And you had a real personal connection with that
Yeah.
person.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see him in the future, you have kind of a bond, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Oh, June 9th, Nicole said that
Yeah,
it's usually celebrate June
Yeah,
19th.
that's right. That's
Okay,
right.
thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole. Yeah. Actually, this is one of my favorites as well.
Everyone's been your favorite.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
This is one of my favorites as well. I mean, when I look at this photo here, it's her beauty, right? And it breaks through, the standard of what we think beauty is, right? Like the gaze of, of beauty, right? The black gaze, right? And the idea of this young lady, her skin tone and the ways that she was wearing, her hoodie. And this was a stranger then too, and I approached her. And the reason why, like I said, is just this photograph means so much to me personally, because too many times African Americans have, we have to go through this standard of what beauty looks like, right? During white gaze and things like that, and this photograph actually breaks that standard to say that we can we beautiful like who we are. We don't have to have a pedestal of what beauty stands for. So it's just that, and I think this photograph just speaks to that. You know, the stern beauty. You know.
So when I look at a lot of your photographs,
Yeah.
there are two things that kind of really sing for me.
Yeah.
And that is the gaze.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I'm differentiating it between African American or a white audience.
Yeah.
But they always talk about the eyes are the windows to the soul,
Yeah.
which is a little corny, but it's sort of true.
Yeah.
That these pictures, these people are looking at me, the viewer.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I do recognize, you know, there's so much talk about race these days.
Yes.
And it's always a little difficult to talk about.
Yes.
Because we just don't talk about it.
Yes.
And of course, I thought of myself walking in your neighborhood, and what would happen if I pulled out a camera.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to get these type of reactions.
Yeah.
You know, one, because they know you.
Yeah.
Two, I'm white.
Yes.
And, you know,
Yeah.
everyone has like suspicions, agendas,
yes.
whatever. But I feel not honored, but I just feel lucky to be able to see these people through your eyes.
Yeah, thank you.
And partly because you have that personal connection.
Yes.
And part of me being wistful that I probably would not have this connection, you know, on there.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest,
Yeah.
on there. I wish I could,
Yeah.
but I'd have to put in my time. They'd have to get to know me,
Yeah.
you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But these people are so comfortable with you.
Yes.
And just wondering, like, do they have a nickname for you, like going around
Oh
photographing?
no, man. You know, a lot of people just call me Do. You
Do,
know,
okay.
Uncle Do, or
Right,
you know,
sure.
Do. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
not Photo Man.
No,
or
not
anything.
Photo
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So tell me about this.
Oh man, this is my niece friend, and oh man, I you know I love this photo as well. I actually photographed it twice, but yeah, Zanea, man, it speaks for itself. I mean, the culture, the hair, you know, her eyes, you know, her skin tone. It's just
Skin tone is, I mean, all your pictures, the skin tone just sings. I meant to mention that with the eyes and so on.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
do you, how do you handle skin tone, shall we say, when you photograph? Are you adjusting anything?
Well, I pretty much like to photograph just a little bit of a negative undertone,
Okay.
just to bring out the
Little
detail. Yeah,
underexposing.
a little underexposing. You know, again, that's the issue with cameras as well, because you know, back in the day, cameras were highlighted as, you know, highly exposure. You know,
kind of a neutral tone.
yeah,
So
like a
not
neutral
too dark,
tone.
not too light.
Yeah. So African Americans weren't, you know, our skin tone, our complexion wouldn't pop.
Right.
So, you know, I like to, when I think about photograph, I like to, you know, think about and use, you know, color like, you know, the dark as, I sound like Kerry May, you know, I sound like James Kerry Marshall right now. But yeah, I like to, you know, just photograph with a little bit of negative undertone just to bring out our skin complexion.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas the white photographer might not be thinking about that.
Yeah,
You know, when
yeah.
someone like Spike Lee will talk about that with
Yeah.
his cinematography, or
Yeah.
Ernest Dickerson, or any
Yeah.
of those guys.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
They're going to be more sensitive to it,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that was a hot day. That was a hot day, that day.
Yeah, it's sort of quintessential summer.
Yeah, yeah.
And the hydrant, the sprinkler head.
Yeah.
And what street is that on?
Yeah, this is on Madison. I actually used to live on this block, you know, before I moved where the location is at now. So this was like, you know, like right across the street from my home, actually. And it was June, no, it wasn't June, this was in July. This was in July 2019. And it was during the heat wave. It was like three day heat wave. Man, it was like 105 degrees that day. And the kids in the neighborhood, you know, were playing in a hydrant, you know. So I was like, man, you know, let me go outside and, you know, make a beautiful series of this. I actually have multiple, you know, I have a series of this, you know, called, heat wave, summer heat wave, right? Yeah, and it's just a, it's just a beautiful, beautiful photograph. Um,
And so you choose to shoot on the street, and I
Yeah.
think that's, another strength of the work.
yes.
Would you ever want to photograph people like in a studio?
I think,
And-
yeah, I would, but I'm so connected to the streets right now. And I mean, it might take a while, but I love the streets.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, photographers usually love equipment and
Yeah,
lighting
yeah,
and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I think you're there. I don't
Yeah.
think you need the studio. I think the studio was
Yeah, I
just,
kind of, exactly.
on there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I think we'll be seeing some other ones where you've really set up the background.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly,
it's
exactly,
like-
exactly.
It's
I
sort of a
actually-
neutral background.
Yeah, speaking about that, I actually, chose this background here. This young man is his name is Charles, and he's from the neighborhood. And he just recently had a baby. So shout out to Charles if he's listening. And congratulations to you and your family. Yeah, so Charles, he's from the neighborhood, and good guy. And I was like, man, I gotta photograph Charles, man. I gotta get him. So I was like, yo, man, come over here. Let me photograph you, man. So I chose the background. It's like in some of my the people I like to photograph, I like to use, like I said earlier, is that I like to use background. So I think again, just photographing him against a brick wall like that, just using as my natural backdrop. And yeah.
Works good.
Yeah,
Works good.
yeah.
Oh, Texas. Sorry, Cassandra's getting us
Oh
more
yeah,
up to speed on.
Hey, Miss Matt. That's a good
Juneteenth.
friend. Hey, Cassandra.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Texas.
Yeah.
After the assassination.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
Got to do my homework.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Tell us about this
Yeah,
guy.
Rodney. That's my guy, Rodney. I actually have so many photos of Rodney. Most likely, Rodney will be here Sunday.
Okay.
And yeah, man, I love this photograph, man, because the chest. I mean, this kind of like represents, our community, right? This represents, the strength, the dignity, the love. I photograph Rodney like every year or so, and I had so many shots, but I just loved his pose, man, because he was telling me, man, get me. He was like, man, photograph me, man, and he just turned to the side, and I just like, man, I just got, photographed him, man, and I always, I just get it's just so much love between him and I. It's a strong relationship, man. So yeah, I love that shot, man.
And, even though most people would say cyclone fence is not, visually,
Yeah.
aesthetically, it's not that
Yeah.
interesting, shall we
Yeah,
say, it gets in
yeah.
the way. But the way you did the converging lines, and
Yeah.
it sort of has a point of interest in
Yes,
him.
yes.
And it just kind of recedes at a nice, diagonal.
Yeah.
It's a strong background.
Yeah.
Most people go, oh man, can we walk over to
Yeah.
the other side of the street and get away from that
we-
fence?
Yeah, we got it. We got
We
to
did
get
it.
it. Yeah.
We did it.
Uh-huh.
And he's,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that is the run of pictures. We didn't show every
Yeah,
picture because
yeah.
we want to keep
Yeah.
some for first time viewing,
Yes,
shall we
exactly.
say. And you're probably wondering if you're in the exhibit.
Yeah.
So the best way to do that is to come
Yeah.
see if you're up on
Yeah.
the wall, for
Yeah,
sure, on
exactly.
there. And you came up with the title
Yes.
for the exhibit.
Yes.
And I'm just using my little card here just to make sure I got it right. It's dignity, beauty, and everything between.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that a little?
Yes, I mean, again, I think, so much, I'm so much of a community man, like growing up in the streets. And, when I think about dignity, I think about, the people in my community, right? Worthy, of dignity, worthy of respect, worthy of love, right? And it's so much, it's so much beauty in that, right? That we see everyday living. Again, like so many times, African American community, we get so many negative stereotypes, right? So when I go out and photograph, it's like a counter narrative of that. I actually was having a conversation with one of my good friends, Nicole. She's listening now, and we have so many, discussions about community and what it looks like, and it's just that, like, just showing that, the beauty, right, and just changing the narrative of what people may think of Jersey City, and think about, black communities across this nation in general, and just like the beauty that you see in the photos. And so the everything in between is the love again, is the joy, is the strength, is the, it's just the good times, the laughter, the joy, it's just that.
I know that you're also involved in other community programs that may not be photographic, but tell us a little bit about that.
I run a nonprofit organization called the Royal Men Foundation. I founded it in 2012, and it's a men's support group, but we do a lot of community civic work. We do a lot of civic work, from workshops, lectures, bike rides, health workshops. I mean, financial workshops. So many things that we do. We just recently, for holidays, we just have with a good friend Amy Wilson and Black Men United and Hudson Demand. We actually had Students Demand. Excuse me. We just gave away toys for the holidays. So we kind of do stuff like that. So we kind of pretty much a pillar in the community when it comes down to that. And it just comes from the idea of just, being positive in the community and just, doing things and supporting each other and, all the good stuff.
So are you invited into the schools to do a program? I know schools can be hard to
speaking of schools, like one of my good friends and one of my partners of that, he's Chris Gaskin. He's probably listening as well too. He's a principal at Lincoln High School. So yeah, we navigate, we work with schools and things like that. Actually, we gave out some of the toys to 15 schools during the holidays. So yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And any interest in like doing videotaping of people as portraits, or are you kind of just decided photos?
Photos right now. Just photographs is my thing. Maybe in the future, but right now I kind of stick with my strength.
Sure. And it sounded like you had a lot of interest. I know it's not related to the photographs, but tell me about your connection with the game chess.
Man. I started playing chess in my early 20s. And a lot of my the older guys in the community, they used to play chess at the extra supermarket. And I used to go there like every day after work, man. And they used to beat up on me, man. Like they used to beat me up in chess, man, send me home.
So did I mishear? You said they played in the supermarket?
Yeah. Because it was years where they actually had a little storefront, and they would sell CDs, and during they used to sell music CDs and videos, and they had a chess table set up, several chess setups, and we just meet up there. It just was like our own little social club. Yeah.
So how old are you when you're playing chess?
Man, like 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. And and you still play?
Yeah, I still play.
Excellent. Excellent. So we're really hoping to meet some great people on Sunday.
Yes.
We have free parking.
Free parking.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And are there any other things you want to say about the work?
I mean, thanks, Kim.
Congratulations, Mr. Sweeney.
I think I just come stop by and see the work.
Sure.
It's beautiful.
Right.
I think a lot of people going to be blown away about it. A lot of people going to feel the connection and come meet people. It's a family thing. I think about one of my favorite running backs on my team, Derrick Henry. He ran for the rushing title in NFL this season, and he would say he didn't do it by himself. It's a collective, right? And I'm thinking about that. It's a collective. Like the work that you would see is a collective of myself in the community, the people that's in the photographs. because I can't do it myself, you know. So I say it's my exhibit, but it's really ours. It's ours. It's the community. It's the people that's in the photographs, you know. So it's a collective. So yeah, come and see your collective.
Okay, come and see your friends. And, and support Duquann.
Yeah.
I think you really stated that beautifully. That you know, you're talking about you photograph organically.
Yeah.
The idea that we're kind of in it together.
Yes.
And trying to achieve a beautiful moment,
Yeah.
a beautiful photograph.
Yes.
And couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And those of you who can't make it on Sunday, the exhibit is up until March 7th.
Yes.
So that's like 6 weeks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And we're open every day except for Monday. You can check the website, hobokenmuseum.org, for particular hours. The work is actually for sale. And any selling is between, shall we say, the customer and Duquann. So you guys can work that out.
Yes.
And I'm really glad you are showing here at the museum.
Yes, thank you.
You had asked me a question, are you the first African American photographer?
Yes.
And I had to think about that for a while, because you might be the first African American artist showing here at the museum.
Wow.
We have had some African artists, and I'm not sure how people are titling themselves with that. But you are definitely one of the few.
Yes.
And it's never too late.
Yes, never too late.
We just need to do more outreach and connect with more people. And also want to thank Eileen Lynch, who works here in development.
Yes.
And she was the connector, and she followed you on, I think, Instagram. And I think we've also spoken that you're so unusual in that you're coming at this from, you use social media, you have Instagram, you have Twitter, but you are kind of old school, showing photographs on a gallery wall, besides the ones on your phone. So anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I think we're covered.
Thank you.
And thank you for people who signed on and
thank
corrected us on our June 19th.
Thank you, Justin.
Yes, definitely. Anyway,
I
cool.
see you.
Okay, so we'll see people on Sunday.
Yes.
And David says, looking forward to seeing in
thank
person.
you,
We
David.
love that. Can we do a little bump since we can't shake hands? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rand, for doing the technical stuff. And I think each one of these programs is looking better and better. And I love the monotone look here.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's great.
Okay, signing out.
Yes.
Signing out.